we noticed that birds attain an extra 3.4 kilograms at 3 weeks and have a lower feed conversion ratio as opposed to when they were not using the electrolyte.
Every time I interact with farmers, I get to learn of their problems.
You could find a farmer with a calcium deficiency, and necessarily that will not mean that their calcium source is bad.
And my commitment as CMF is always to bring you alternative solutions to those challenges that you as farmers are facing.
We have seen people even going to the extent of injecting broilers with multivitamins. That is very wrong.
Today's video is all about learning how farmers are improving poultry performance through better nutrition and smarter farm practices.
So I'm going to use half of this bucket because for us our tank it is 500 liters and this electrolyte is supposed to mix 1,000.
I'm joined by specialists who supply poultry equipment and guide farmers on the right products to use so that they can have healthier and better birds on their farms.
We were here 1 week back and the birds were experiencing heat stress. So we moved around and they were all panting. I think you see now all of them are sleeping. They are resting.
Andrew, I know you work with so many poultry farmers.
Yes.
What common poultry production challenges do farmers bring to you? And how does proper nutrition play a role in solving them?
Well, there are a number of poultry challenges that farmers are facing. And of course, interacting with quite a number of farmers, each farmer has their own challenges. So they can be classified in two different categories, but particularly in terms of nutrition, most farmers, I think, pay a lot of attention to macronutritional challenges as opposed to the micro. So what I mean by macro is they pay a lot of attention to the proteins, they pay a lot of attention to energy sources, maybe fiber sources, and then they leave out the most important crucial element, which are the micro supplements such as vitamins, electrolytes, trace elements and minerals. And I believe this is a big challenge depending on the situation they are going through. Vitamins are supposed to address vitamin deficiencies. So you normally know that already in the feeds or in our way of farming, we have supplements that we normally give in other forms. It can be powder, it can be liquid, and it can also be, mainly two forms, powder and liquid. Yeah, but in this case, we now zeroed down to tablet form of vitamins. You have tablets.
Yes. I'm used to seeing powder solutions and water-based vitamins.
Yeah,
Tell us more about the tabs.
Yeah, there is a lot of improvement in some of these supplements and maybe even medications. Right now, we bring our vitamins and electrolytes in form of tablets. So we no longer bring it in form of powders.
Which difference does it make?
Of course, first of all, the first physical difference is the shape. If you know what a tablet looks like, I know most of our farmers out there are used to powders and liquids, where they use spoons or where they weigh meals. Now we have moved past that. We took some time to know our industry, and we noticed that the best way we can bring these vitamins is through tablets. So the advantages of these tablets is one, stability. They keep in their form all through, even when you open the pockets or the sockets. And then they are easy to use because they are easy to handle. They come in small packs. That means you can move it easily, but also the small packs allow you to keep it safe after use. Then they allow immediate distribution in drinking water. First of all, they are effervescent tablets. That means they are fizzing tablets. When you drop it in water, it forms carbon dioxide bubbles, and within 1 minute, it has dissolved in water.
The whole water.
So that's the tablet. It's as big as that. So it just drops it in the water. There is no any magic. There is no any logic. As opposed to when you have So you can see the reaction, yeah?
I don't have to do
No, you don't have to shake it. You can see the bubbles. So what happens there are 3 stages. There's what we call the reaction. There's what we call the activation. This is when the water dissolves the acid and the base components. And then we get a reaction. The dissolved acids and base reacts, producing carbon dioxide gas, and then the dispersion. The dispersion is where the gas is released as bubbles, which causes the tablet to break apart rapidly, and the active ingredient is to dissolve and disperse evenly throughout the liquid. So you give it a few minutes, and within a few minutes, the whole tablet will have dissolved in the solution, and then you go and distribute it in your tanks evenly. And then they are error-free in terms of dosing. You know that most of the powders, you have to use a spoon. Sometimes you take the right measurements. Sometimes you take measurements with lower grams, missing some grams. So that keeps the farmer in check in order to be able to get results. They don't know what they are actually, the actual measurements, grams they are giving their birds. So these tablets, since it comes in a tablet form, you minimize on the errors of dosing. Then it's a concentrated product. You notice that it's a small tablet, but it mixes a lot of water. So it means that you don't have to carry a big sachet of vitamins to mix just 1,000 liters of water. So if you compare it to other vitamins, liquids and powders, this is more concentrated, and it means it gives the farmer value for money, yeah, in terms of cost-benefit analysis. Then you don't have any spillages. Since it's a tablet, all you do is just drop it in the tank, and then you don't have spillages around wastage of money. And then it allows rapid intervention at critical times. Most of these tablets are activated. In a layman's language, I could relate it to, if you've seen most of the paracetamols now on the market, they are activated. Once you take it, within a few minutes, you'll feel relief from the headache. So these tablets are activated in the way that the bodies of the birds can easily take them up and react and cause a response. So if you have calcium deficiency, you will be able to notice a difference maybe within a couple of days. If you're really addressing a calcium deficiency and you're using the vitamin D supplement. Then the other thing is they are easy to use. So it means even if you have workers who are not so educated on the farm, once you tell him to put 1 tablet in a tank, they don't have to go around reading, they will just be able to use it.
The other interesting observation I've made is the fact that this water line system is also playing an important role on this farm. It's very hot, and the fact that they are trying to address the issue of heat stress with these electrolytes is that these birds have to have water. Each bird has to have access to water. And this system is actually making sure that each bird is having access to water. And once they are consuming this water, it means their stress levels are going to lower down. From your experience, what signs should a farmer look out for to know that their birds are lacking essential nutrients?
At times it takes the intervention of a vet. Yeah, some nutrient deficiencies actually can only be verified by vets, but there are those that can also be verified by the performance of the birds. For example, I'll give you an example of vitamin D deficiency. That is basically a vitamin that aids mainly in calcium absorption. If you have issues with egg quality, soft shells, you have seen birds laying eggs with soft shells, probably the issue may not be actually a calcium source, but it could be the ability of the body to absorb the calcium that you're already giving the birds. So you can easily see it. If you have leg paralysis in cages, if you have leg paralysis in cages, if you have normally weak legs for broilers, maybe because of overweight, then you know that you're supposed to supplement with a vitamin that mainly aids calcium absorption.
So what are you doing?
So right now, we are going to supplement our bodies with the electrolyte. So this is the right time. Of course, we always supplement the electrolyte when there is too much heat. So we always mix during midday time, so that by the time when the sun sets, the bodies are already okay.
Do you notice any difference after using this for some time?
Yeah, a big difference by the way. Of course, before using this electrolyte, the birds were squeezed, like they were being squeezed in one place. So after using this electrolyte, now as you can see, they are all spaced well.
He was having stress, and you could clearly see it in the house. Yeah, he's a broiler farmer who is keeping 7,000 birds in one house. So with 7,000 birds, definitely those birds generate heat, and then that coupled with the heat outside the house, the environment outside the house, definitely you'll have the birds panting. So he approached us for a solution, and then we had to recommend the electrolytes, vitamins, which he's using now to, I think you see now all of them are sleeping, they are resting, meaning they are eating very well, they are taking in enough water, they are rehydrating very well, and that means that they are not affected by heat stress anymore. So that is a result of these Hydrophies. And of course the consistent water supply that they have through this system. Yeah.
Wow, that's
so we have only addressed heat stress here. We have not even supplemented any vitamins.
Wow, interesting. So I want to know, there are some, for example, if you're having a challenge of, let's say, a disease outbreak, let's say coccidiosis, when they're prescribing for you the medicine, they tell you shouldn't use anything when you are treating your birds of coccidiosis. If you're using
if the birds are on medication, they should strictly undergo medication,
and then maybe you can
you can introduce the vitamins.
So how do your vitamins work?
I think that's a very important question, and I think every farmer would want to know about it. Yes, you're very right. Most of the vitamins on the market, I don't know if people are observant to read what is really put in those vitamins. Like there are normally compositions on those packets. You
very
find a
few
vitamin.
Actually read.
Yeah.
Some they just
very
go
few.
with what?
Yeah, of course, because they buy from drug shops, and the guys who sell, they just say go and put in water. But if you read some of those sackets, you'll notice that those vitamins have a number of different vitamins, and then we have reached an extent where some vitamins are actually fortified with amino acids, like methionine, lysine. You find a vitamin that is like 3-in-1. Some even have organic acids in them. Some of them have oils to address CRDs, cough, respiratory infections, and everything. And that is a vitamin. So the reason why most vets or practitioners actually advise people not to mix vitamins with medicines or drugs is because some of those components can actually neutralize performance of the drug.
So I'm going to use half of this bucket, because for us our citric tank, it is 500 liters, and this electrolyte is supposed to mix 1,000
in a day. Can your birds drink the whole of this tank and they feed?
Yeah, from midday time, I think up to 4. So I have to first stop the tap so that I mix well.
Okay. Hey, that's interesting to know.
Now I close the tap.
That's it.
I think this one is enough. So I will start mixing my electrolyte.
Okay.
I will mix like 4-5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
So what do we have here?
So what we have here is Hydrophies. This is the electrolyte we are talking about. So it is mainly supplemented to help in rehydrating and also reducing stress in birds, especially now that the birds are undergoing heat stress. It is also used in cases of transporting the birds. You know, when you transport the birds, they get stressed. when there are too many in the house. Population density, if the population density is high, then you find yourself in a situation where they generate a lot of heat, and then that causes panting and discomfort and stress. So even when they are going through diarrhea, which most people I think call coccidiosis, they undergo a lot of stress, and this does not address coccidiosis, but it helps them relieve from the stress that comes with that.
Just like you would take orals as a...
So this would help them rehydrate more and also overcome the stress. Each tablet like this is mixing 1,000 liters of water.
It's packed like a cake.
Yeah, it's packed like this. So safely packed, by the way, with a very hard cover, and then also to keep it safe until when you use it.
I know for layer farmers are wondering, if Redoubts today we just decided to help those of broilers, how about if I have challenges with egg production on my layers farm?
Well, these tablets first of all cut across. Heat stress does not only affect broilers. It can even affect layers, it can affect ducks, it can affect even large animals, by the way, or medium animals. Now, in regard to the question you're asking, if your birds are having issues with egg production, we need to verify what particular challenge are you facing. Egg production means it could be number of eggs, it could be weak shell eggs.
We farmers do not pay attention to, we don't pay attention to micronutrients. They are very, very significant, to the extent that if your bird is deficient on any of those vitamins, it will not actually perform very well. Take an example of vitamin D. It's needed by the birds in very small quantities, and if you give it to your birds, they'll perform well. But deficient of it, short of it, you know what will happen? For example, if you're a broiler farmer, you're going to suffer from leg paralysis. Your birds, because of the heavy weight, they will not be able to stand properly. Look at these birds. They are very healthy. They are heavy, but they are still standing on their legs properly. And if you're a layer farmer, if your birds are lacking vitamin D, do you know what's going to happen? You're going to have very bad eggs with very poor quality shells, because maybe they are not able to absorb that calcium properly that is in the feed. I'm a farmer, so when I go to buy most of these vitamins and especially if the birds are on treatment and all that, you may find that this bird only requires an electrolyte, and you have to find with our medicines on market, you have to find that electrolyte in a certain vitamin when it's vitamins in the same thing. So I think this is something which is very good.
In our case, we decided to bring individual vitamins. I know it is expensive on the Ugandan market to invest money in individual vitamins, but it makes sense to us that if a farmer is facing a particular deficiency, there's no reason as to why they should go and buy multivitamins, like vitamins that are combined. Sometimes those combined vitamins have lower compositions, base components actually, in terms of what you're actually addressing. So this particular vitamin specifically tackles what you have at the farm, the deficiency, the problem you have at the farm. And this is why we say that when you use it, it should be as a result of the prevailing condition on the farm, probably guided by a nutritionist, and in this case we mean the animal nutritionist, or a vet. A vet can easily come on the farm and tell you, I think your birds are lacking vitamin B. Now, if you're in that situation, then you should actually address the birds with vitamin B complex kind of supplement. If they are saying your birds are lacking vitamin D, it should be vitamin D, rather than buying a vitamin that addresses everything.
From our conversation, I noticed that you hit on the fact that some farmers make mistakes, or they have misconceptions about these supplements. What are some of those mistakes that do they make when it comes to supplementation, and how can they avoid them?
One is farmers supplement even when it is not needed, and it becomes a cost. So the first mistake they make is to incur unnecessary costs. We have seen people even going to the extent of injecting broilers with multivitamins, injectables, just for purposes of giving their birds vitamins in their bloodstreams. That is very wrong. We believe that injections should be a last resort for small animals like birds. I think if birds are able to take water and also feed properly, they can be supplemented through water and feeds. You don't have to inject them. And they don't only give the multivitamins, they also add in other things like antibiotics. And remember, these things have withdrawal periods in animals, depending on the administration, but also on the size of the animal. So most farmers don't take that into consideration. What happens is that at the end of the day, these residues can either affect the animal health, or they can also affect human health at the end of the day. So it would be wise to supplement these vitamins with some technical guide.
Okay, before you continue, can we say that because there is a farm I visited, and this farm actually gives his birds after a day, he gives them vitamins. Can we say that's also a mistake?
I think it's a mistake cost-wise, because if you look at it vis-a-vis the cost of production of the bird and the revenues from sales of the birds, it may not make sense. So you can supplement at least once every week or 2 times, because I'm sure that if you supplement it maybe occasionally, then the performance of the bird will not be affected. Will still be good instead of using it on a daily basis. You're buying these vitamins at a cost. For example, 1 tablet costs over 35,000 just for 1,000 liters of water. Just imagine if you have to keep your birds on that cost every time. How are you going to recover the money? Then the other thing is, as I said, some people cannot easily evaluate, cannot know whether the vitamins is working.
It's working, yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for you to just give vitamins endlessly when even you don't see results. I believe that when there is a deficiency and you administer vitamins, you can easily know that you've really addressed the issue. For example, if there is a vitamin B deficiency, you will see it in performance, growth, and reproduction. If there is a calcium deficiency, you will see the eggs getting better in terms of quality of the shells, strength of the shell eggs, and then maybe leg paralysis, you will see the birds able to get back on their feet.
Generally, from my observation, this broiler farm, it's located in a very, very hot place. I don't usually sweat, but I'm sweating. But when I look at the birds, they're evenly distributed in the house. You know, they're not panting a lot. We know broilers pant a lot under heat stress, but the birds are okay. They're actually sleeping, they're drinking water. They look fine.
This is a farmer who has been working with us for some time. First of all, he approached us with a water challenge. He was using ordinary drinkers, and then we had to come in and provide water lines which give him water almost the entire 24 hours. And then his other challenge was the change in the environment. Of course, these days we have a lot of long dry spells. So broilers are mainly affected by heat. And he wanted to buy fans, by the way. He wanted to buy fans, which work in most cases, but we didn't have the funds, and then we opted to give him electrolytes, and now he's performing better.
What practical advice would you give to new poultry farmers who are about to join this venture? Because we're in December and some are planning to join poultry farming next year, about choosing and using nutritional supplements responsibly.
Well, I think the first piece of advice I would give new farmers is, first of all, to seek the right knowledge. There is a knowledge gap in the industry, and most farmers have their own way of getting around solutions. So any new farmer should actually seek out for the right information from technical people. The first people to deal with should be the vets, and then the nutritionists. And then, of course, with their guidance, you can be able to know how to supplement any additives, both in water and in feeds for your flock. Of late, most of the breeders have also played a very important role in helping farmers supplement for their animals. For example, when they release the birds, they give out a vaccination schedule, which also entails a detailed program on how they should supplement alongside the vaccination program. That is very important in guiding a new farmer who totally has no idea about how to do this. And I believe that with that they can be able to have their flocks grow to these weights and also be as healthy as this one where we are now. We at VetEquip Solutions, we offer a number of services and products. In terms of products, we offer animal nutritional supplements like vitamins, the ones you've just seen here. We do have the B complex vitamins, we do have the D vitamins, we have the trace minerals, we have the antioxidants, and then we have the electrolytes, as a company. Then in terms of service, we mainly offer automated water systems and automated feed systems, which we do on a call-on-order basis. So we are located in Kampala. We are at Kingsway Plaza, shop number F14, first floor. Our phone number is 0775 96 6801. We only use one phone number. So whenever you call that, even WhatsApp us, you can always get a response from us.
And should be strictly business.
Yeah, it should be strictly business. That's our business line.
There you have it, one of the other amazing solutions to some of your problems that you are facing on your farms. The choice is yours, whether to have healthier and stronger birds or to allow your farm to shrink. With that, I'll see you in the next video.